So this was what we were talking about earlier about Funko Pop with Big Stu. So that CEO Punk, this is the 17th of July. This has just happened a couple of weeks ago.
Recently.
Yeah, so he steps down, and not only that, now they've lost like another $70 million. They just reported. At that time, they had lost about 60 million or something, and now they've lost another 70 million. And it's kind of the craziness of what's going on over here.
They don't seem to sell that hot these days. Those Funko Pops,
Yeah,
you're seeing them on the shelves just by the dozens, one after another. I mean, I've got, I think I got the old, obviously, Shipwreck, and I think I got the Snake Eyes and Cobra Bat. I don't collect them, but if I see something that's neat, I'll pick them up. But
yeah,
I mean, the shelves are just cramp packed full. So,
but that's the thing. Like, so we were just saying with Big Stu that they just spread themselves so wide, rather than become like exclusive. They spread themselves so wide, and now they're in such hot water with trying to make sure this company survives, because they don't not only just have pop, right? They have soda, Funko Soda. They have the little miniatures. They have vinyl company, and so and there's other things that they do as part of their overall company. This is just one of the things, but this is the one that's going to is harming them in the most by what they're doing.
Yeah,
and we mentioned this Big Stu, like earlier, like we talk about like figures that don't move, right? So this is of a very, this is about a couple of $100 as well, and I found it in a thrift shop, but it had the fingers of like the left hand missing. This is actually a very, very cool supernatural anime this is based off of. That way, there we go. And this is just, the artwork's great, but it's a figure that, just like Funko, just sits there, right? It doesn't do anything, but it's an exclusive run. It's like they probably did 1,000 or something like that, and so you'd pay $200 for it because of that. And so the idea here is that like Funko Pop isn't that exclusive, and so it's for everything. I've got like dioramas as well. Let me just show you this diorama for Funko. So these ones here, right? These ones here, this is from like 1950s Wonder and Wonder Vision, the TV show. I think I picked this up for maybe $15, down from $25. I just thought it was quite a cool, something different to have, right? Because it just looked interesting. It was black and white. It just has a 1950s look to it from the TV show. But this, right? So this is, I got this for $5. This would be about $30 on clearance at $5, because it's Seinfeld, right? It's like, it's got Jerry's apartment and it's George in there, it's like, there's George, and you can like, this is part of the apartment, and one of them, and you can make the entire one if you buy all the others.
Oh, you got
Kramer. I'm like, and you got Kramer and all the others, and what was Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character's name?
Yep.
Elaine.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah. So, they just went everywhere, and I think that's what's caused this whole situation with them, sadly.
Well, I think also, I think it's a domino effect. I mean, we recently just had, and we're talking 5 years ago. We're talking the shutting down of Toys R Us. We're talking about the shutting down of Kmart's, things like that. Toys R Us was carrying a lot of the Funkos, back in the day. And maybe their distribution is, not quite as strong as it once was.
Yeah.
the popularity of the newness of it, the shininess is now kind of worn
That's
off.
yeah.
You know, people
When
are like,
everybody's got one, right?
what's
When
that?
everybody's got one,
Yeah,
and there's about 50 of them in their house,
right.
it loses its sheen somehow. But
You
if you
know,
have if you have a really cool Attack on Titan figure, right, that has amazing details and it's in every house, it's in like not every house, it's in like about a dozen homes, right, out of
right.
100 or whatever, maybe even in 1,000. Then you're like, then you like appreciate the character, like the artwork, and it just looks so much better and it's more
There,
detail to it.
there's a toy guy on YouTube, Nerdzoic, and he
Okay,
was talking. He started doing his own toy store. That's what he inspired me to do my own toy store.
right.
And one of the things he said, and I remember it, he's like, yeah, I bought a bunch of Funko Pop figures so I'd have them in my toy store so I could, but I didn't know anything about Funko Pops. I don't like Funko Pops,
Yeah,
and he says, and now I got a bunch of Funko Pops that aren't selling that I have to get rid of on clearance, and he's like, and so
yeah,
he's, one of the things is like, if you don't have any kind of interest in something, don't try to sell it. Don't try to
yeah.
get into it to sell it just to get, to get that extra money into it. Just,
Mm,
leave it alone.
mm,
It's, or educate yourself a lot more before you start to explore it.
Mm-hmm.
And I from the get go, when they first hit the scene, when the bobblehead type of dolls started hitting the scene, I could
yeah,
see that it wasn't going to last. I knew that the bubble was going to burst at some point. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Not surprising.
it isn't. I mean, it's
mm,
you know, hopefully there is some sort of a resurgence, and I hate to see a toy line go out,
yeah,
Right.
go away and be forgotten
Been a lot of
because
yeah.
them. Yeah.
that
Because that
means that my favorite
it's
toy line can experience the same thing, and I really
exactly.
don't want that to happen.
No.
That's
No.
that's the same thing about like comic shops. I don't want to see comic shops fail because as a former comic shop owner, when that fails, that's like there's a niche that's got that kept all the fandom and that community together and um come got them hang out together. That goes away, and not only that, that they don't have anywhere good to hang out and be amongst their friends and not worry about
Oh yeah,
getting into trouble and stuff. It's a bit of community that goes from there, but it's also an outlet for independent comic creators, right?
Mhm.
And also outlet for independent toy creators who do their own thing. Like there's a huge oh gosh, independent toy creators out there as well. So you could like actually do like limited run of a specific items. I've been learning about the Japanese and how they do that. They'll be like, they'll put out a toy and it'll be only 10, and you had to bid go into a lottery to be able to buy one, right?
Mm.
And it'll
right.
be it'll have the specific price. You don't even have to worry about what price because you want that. So whatever the price is going to be, you will pay. And it's just this really interesting concept behind it. And I'd love to see. I'd like to talk to other toy collectors and see what they're doing out there. So if you guys know anybody who's interested, let them know that we'd love to have them come on discussion.